It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
You know, I'm just looking at some of this on the rundown today, and it's Pilk. We haven't. There's things we haven't had time to discuss over the last couple days. They've been packed to the gills, so we got a little time today to get into some things, to chop some things up, as it were. I think it's exciting. Thank you for being with us. Welcome in. Nice to have you along. Patrick Johnson Show on a Wednesday. You've made it beyond the midway point of the week, so it's all downhill from here. I think a lot of people are trying to get in last hurrahs for vacation and what have you. Some kids are already starting back school. It's a crazy time. I was talking to a teacher today who's they moved classrooms, and apparently this is a huge deal in the world of teaching. You move classrooms. I didn't realize it was, but apparently it is. So it's been a busy day, Pilk. A lot of non-sportsy stuff I've had to take care of. What have you been working on today? You've almost perfected. I'm going to start calling you Little Buscemi, because you've almost perfected this deal where you, in the George Costanza mode, you go around and it appears like you're busy because you're grumpy. You know, Buscemi appears, he always just like he's frazzled. I'm actually giving you a hard time because you had to carry the ball for him today. So
it's been a busy day here at the Radio Ranch. Yeah, I would say that you missed out on a lot of panic and.
I didn't miss out on anything, and I'm glad I did not miss out on. I was not privy to any of it. I'm more than happy that I didn't miss out on it. Pilk, we have gotten a lot of feedback from Helmetgate. We talked to Clay Medlin yesterday at Rose, the AD, and I got a couple of messages, even have talked to somebody today subsequently. This was quite an elaborate deal. You know, we were wondering aloud, what would you do? Apparently these were a very special, specific type of helmet that were very expensive, these 44 helmets that were stolen.
So are they all speed flexes or something?
I think that's what it was. And the idea is it's believed that, well, I don't know how much of this I could say. I don't think this was some elaborate group of multiple people carrying this out. And then the timing of it was last week during one of the rainy periods. It's a caper. It's a fascinating caper. I don't know if they're ever going to recover the helmets. I don't know where they're going to be. And it's still not 100% known why somebody would get the helmets. I mean, there's speculation, but they'll never get those helmets, I don't think. I'd be shocked if they did. And I think the concern for the Rose people is, you know, how did the person get into the building? Because that's not exactly been made clear to anybody I've talked to. And they said there were no signs of any, you know, I think it was broken into. So there's the mystery still being unraveled, Pilk.
Sounds like an inside job.
Whoa! Somebody knew something. Somebody knew something, Pilk. But the more that you learn about that, the more layers you peel back off the onion. That's a fascinating story. I'm very intrigued to see how it ends up playing out inevitably. I hope that there is a break in the case soon. The 12U Winterville baseball team is playing in the Ironman bracket. They wrapped up pool play yesterday, or was it the day before yesterday? I think it was the day before yesterday. They wrapped up pool play. So they will continue to play out in Branson, Missouri, but they will be in the Ironman division or the Ironman bracket, and they will not play till tomorrow. Their to-be-determined opponents were playing, or opponent was playing today. A couple of teams were hooking up, and tomorrow they await the winner of that. Does the Winterville 12U team for Cal Ripken at 3 o'clock, I believe it is tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, Well, today we're gonna have some comments from Mike Houston from earlier in the week. We have a lot of things that have been kind of couched from earlier in the week we never got to because we've been in such a mode. And then Brian Mull's going to be with us coming up in a little bit to talk off. I guess the playoffs in the FedEx Cup, we're going to get some gambling numbers from him. Tomorrow, Houston Nutt will be. We mentioned Houston Nutt yesterday, and we decided to invite Coach on. Coached in the SEC, college football coach, was on CBS Sports for a number of years, now retired from that, but still talking ball. We'll do that with Houston Nutt tomorrow. And right now scheduled to be with us is ECU football alum, Jets beat writer Antoine Staley, as the Panthers are in their joint practices with Gang Green right now. Gang Green, not gangrene, Gang Green. Pilk, when you told me you were going to a game the other day, I thought you were going to Charlotte, but no, you were headed up to Baltimore this weekend.
Yeah.
For sports excitement. You're going to go watch a baseball game at beautiful Camden Yards. Sox O's.
That's right.
Sox O's. And then you guys are going to the Falcons Ravens.
Yeah, Falcons Ravens are at noon, so we figured if we're already going to go up and spend the day in Baltimore, we might as well all go to an NFL stadium we've never been to. So
okay. Well, this is going to be fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So
who's going on this field trip? You and Dom? Is there anybody else who I don't know, or is it just you and Dom?
My roommate, Thomas, who you don't know.
Okay.
He's just never been to Camden Yards, so he was like, hey, one of the MLB parks I haven't checked off, so let's do it.
What about Casey? Casey's a big baseball fan. Why wouldn't you take Casey on the trip?
Because he lives in Clinton. Because he lives in Clinton, South Carolina, and that's a long.
That's right. He's now with the Blue Hose, isn't he?
He is. Yeah. He's a Blue Hoe.
Whoa. Pilk. Worked up today. Let's see here. A couple other notes that I wanted to make mention of. Thanks to 99.9 The Fan. And up next for having me on this morning, Paul and Graham. Appreciate that. We talked about some of the news coming out of Greenville beyond ECU, which was the championship, which, by the way, the championship for softball. By the way, we're going to have another installment. I think it's the final installment of the Best of Patrick Johnson Show. Pilk has to search far and wide to find Best of segments. So Friday will be the final Best of. Pilk will be hosting on the 23rd, and then we'll be back on Fridays with a fresh show with me on the fresh show starting on the 30th. But and some details on that coming up in the coming weeks. But we're going to re-air the interview we did with the manager of the winning softball championship team in our best of on Friday, because I think that people are still wanting to talk about that. And it'd be great to hear from him. So that's coming up on Friday, 5 o'clock right here. We did not really put a bow on the Olympics, Pilk. Is there anything before we get into some audio? Is there anything that you wanted to say? Again, the last 2 days have been so chocked full of other things that we have not had the opportunity to talk more on the national scene. So is there anything out of the Olympics that stands out to you? I'll go first. I'm pulling a Henry Hinton on you in that I've asked you a question and then I'm going to answer it and then give you a chance to possibly speak, and I may interrupt you. So the breakdancing thing, now we're getting the memes of the break dancer who got no points from Australia, the PhD, doing her moves or whatever, and they've imposed the picture on a meme, Pilkington, in Seinfeld. Remember when Elaine would dance on Seinfeld and they coined the phrase "sweet fancy Moses" from George Costanza? So that's in there, and there's great memes on that, and then there's Elaine and this person having a dance off. So I think that's fantastic. This woman is brilliant as far as I'm concerned, because she convinced her country to pay for her to go to Paris, France, for 2 weeks, and apparently had no skills in this sport.
Hey, free trip to Paris. I disagree with how she did it, but brilliant. Hey, you got to. That's what it takes.
This person is brilliant, and the people in Australia are idiots.
Well,
and by the way,
the people of Australia lost a war to emus one time back in like the 60s. So, I mean, do you really have a lot of faith in them?
No, but I've always wanted to go to Australia.
I think it'd be cool.
Always wanted to go there. Yeah, I think it would be. Good people, from what I understand. Just not real smart, apparently. So they're not doing breakdancing in either of the next two Summer Olympiad. Did you know that, Pilk? They're not putting any money in it. So this could be a one-time thing.
I did know it was
They're
not
not gonna
returning
come
to
back.
L.A. I did not know that they were not
And
going
then
to have it in
whatever's in
Sydney or
32.
Perth or whatever. It's somewhere in Australia.
Yeah.
I can't remember where.
It's not going to. But see, you would almost hope that they would put it in by the time 32 rolls around, because then this PhD who got no points in the B girl beat or whatever the hell they're calling it could read. It's a story of redemption. I bet the ratings would be through the roof. LeBeijing, James. You know, Steph Curry, Pilk, you and I probably don't agree with him politically, but I'll say this. It seemed like he is very measured when he makes a statement of any kind. He doesn't say just outlandish stuff. He's not a bomb thrower in that regard. He can bomb it in from three, and I think what he did was really cool, watching him seal the game for the Olympic team and get gold for the U.S. But then you got LeBeijing, who's had the Lakers draft his kid, who is one of the bigger prima donnas despite this great talent. After the Olympic championship win and the gold medal for the men's team, hit the audio of what LeBeijing did when he went out on a night on the town in France on Saturday.
Congratulations, LeBron. Stop. Don't do that. Congratulations, LeBron.
Champion!
So you heard a little kid there. Play the very beginning of that again, Bill, in case you've missed it.
Congratulations, LeBron. Stop. Don't do that. Congratulations,
So a
LeBron.
little kid is coming up to him with a phone, Pilk?
Yeah, I think
And
it looks like he just wanted a
hey,
selfie or something.
Yeah, or and LeBron's telling him, stop, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't
kid.
get it. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, I
look,
get it. LeBeijing is a balding prima donna.
you know, it would stink in a way to be famous and to always have people hounding you, but also, like, you're going out there, you get your gold medal around your neck, so you're not trying to hide. It's not like you're wearing a disguise, and it's one kid. It's not like there were 400 people
Right.
lined up where if you said
Exactly.
yes to one, you have to say yes to everybody else. I mean, everybody else was behind a rope, and it was all media
Right.
anyways, or paparazzi. It wasn't even media. Like, just take a
So
selfie with the
here's-
kid.
Here is the and you'd have got great press out of this. Here is then what one of the photographers was saying, and then at the very end of this, you'll hear a crowd cheer, and we'll tell you what LeBeijing is doing. So he's told the kid, stop here.
Make
Listen to this
space, guys, for
paparazzi
King.
board.
Make space.
Make space for King.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, yes. And then he does some sort of stupid shimmy dance in the doorway of the restaurant. Again, proving what you said, Pilk. It wasn't like he was trying to hide the fact he was out there. He just wanted to blow a kid off.
Kid's probably French, and the kid's still wanting to take a picture with him after he just beat the French.
Yeah, but he's a kid.
Yeah, he's probably 8-10 years
Could
old.
be a misbehaving kid. I don't know. Probably is. Most of them are. But, I mean, he's a kid. And what would have think of the PR the guy would have gotten had this kid taken a selfie with him, and it had gone viral all over creation.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's 2 seconds of your life to make his entire life.
Right, and you have now left an impression on this kid because you are a balding prima donna who has to really, if we're being really honest, outside of the, well, even he's got to thank Kyrie for the championship in Cleveland. Dwayne Wade
And Ray Allen.
Kind of
Don't
was the-
forget Ray Allen.
and Ray Allen are the guys that kind of got him the other rings in Miami. MJ, the dude, is not. Kobe, the guy, is not, and never will be. All right, that's my takes on my take from the Olympics, Pilk. LeBeijing, a jackwagon, and the breakdancer who scored 0 points is the smartest person on the planet.
I've got one, but I think it's more of a Henry Hinton show thing. I think.
No,
than
go
this.
ahead.
The boxer
it's fine.
lady. The boxer lady who clearly has too high of testosterone, and you have a certain group of people going, well, she was born a woman. She's not a transgender. Well, if her testosterone levels are too high. We've always had testosterone maxes in sports. Women can have X amount, men can have X amount. And you know what? If she has too much because she's like, what's it called when you're born with both? Born
right,
both, kind of.
Yeah.
Then that's unfortunate for her, but it's the same level of unfortunate for all of us who are just not good enough to make it. If she's not good enough to make it as a man, her testosterone is too high to be with the women's. I mean, if Barry Bonds can't go hit a baseball because his testosterone's too high, this person should not be punching people in the face if their testosterone is too high. I mean, if that's the case, if it's a medical thing, I feel bad for her, but it is what it is. You can't sit there and have people getting injured. It's not the reason why we have men's and women's sports. It's not because your biological, what we see on the outside is the difference. It's the inside. It's the testosterone. That's what makes men stronger than women most of the time, and the reason why we have to have men's and women's sports. It's solely from hormones. And her hormones are that of a man, and she was punching women in the face. Different if she was breakdancing or playing table tennis.
If she were breakdancing, she probably would have scored more points than the Australian breakdancer.
I think you and I could score more points than the Australian.
I think we would have scored more points than yes, absolutely. One other thing I wanted to mention before we go to break here. Oh, I thought you were going to go with Grinder. I didn't know you threw me a little bit of a curve there going with the XY chromosome boxer.
Oh, yeah, Brittany Griner. Now she's like, oh,
did
my
I call
country
it Grindr?
did. Yeah.
It's Griner.
Yeah, my country did so much for me, getting me back out of Russia, and now I'm repaying my country by giving them a gold medal. Oh, my goodness. I can't stand her. She's talked about how now she's all patriotic. Okay. She shouldn't have been allowed on the team. There's been a lot of people, big-time people, other athletes come out and say, look, if you hate our country, you shouldn't be able to represent it. You want to play professionally, whatever, but come on. Can't stand her.
Bobby Davis is a man who is from Southern Lenoir County, was a teacher and a principal and a coach at South Lenoir High School, and apparently he has died according to folks down that way. So, good man. When I was starting in this game doing hoops in Lenoir County, he was the principal at South Lenoir and was very supportive and a good man. I'm sorry to hear about his passing today. All right, we're going to hear from Mike Houston coming up in just a moment, so stay with us. We'll do a Pirate Report. Brian Mull still to come in this show. It is a Wednesday Patrick Johnson show. Pilk and I have reacted to the Olympics now. That's the definitive final word on it. Wouldn't you say, Pilkington? I'd say so.
I'd say so till 2028 when we go party in L.A. and watch the Olympics.
I think we ought to plan to do the show from there.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
here is a timeout, and we'll come back and have more, including comments from Coach Houston.
We're down to the final days of our summer sales event at Greenville Toyota.
Lease new RAV4s, $319 a month. Test drive the redesigned 2025 Camry, all with our advantage.
It's your last chance to save at Greenville Toyota.
Pirate game days, there's nothing like them. The atmosphere,
First down.
the tradition, the matchups, the magical finishes. Be a part of Pirate Game Days. Season tickets are as low as $115. Reserve your seat today to be a part of the experience of Pirate Game Days at Donnie Ficklin Stadium this fall.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Boom, dum, dum. Get low, get low, get low. 369, ooh, she fine. Hoping she can sing it to me one more time. Get low, get low, get low, get low. Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
Hurry, the summer savings event is coming to an end. Don't miss your chance.
Enjoy your summer in a new Corolla for just $219 a month or a Highlander for only $399 a month. Got a trade? Get cash for it or trade for a new Toyota.
Hurry into Greenville Toyota today.
Have you noticed he's in his own little happy hour? We're back to the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
This is the Happy Hour program.
Here's the P-Man.
All right, Pirate football, 31st. There'll be a scrimmage this weekend, and it'll be the second of the preseason. Some comments from Coach Houston. These are from Saturday after the after the scrimmage, Pilk. This is not from a press conference earlier in the week, or is it?
This is from Monday.
Or
so after he had a chance to kind of look at the film.
This is his. Okay, I got you. Thanks. All right, here is Mike on the expectations for the offensive line, again, after he had a chance to break down the film.
I think we got a chance to be pretty good up front. Our identity defensively centers around our physicality up front. And we've got to have that same kind of identity offensively. And we've got the experience. We got guys that want to, but I'm determined to do some things just to really, kind of bury that mindset inside of them that this is the way we want to play. And I think that the leadership from guys like Dustin and Parker and Hamp, those older guys, I thought that they did a great job today. I thought the first offensive line practiced very well today. And so I think I've got to be more deliberate. Coach Maddox got to be more deliberate, just if we want to be what we can be.
He was very deliberate with a big pause there after he said hit the initial statement and then let it go to right before he makes the next comment, because there was a pretty lengthy pause there. Did something distract him, Pilk?
No, he just had like the eye of the tiger in there. I mean, it was just.
I think we got a chance to be pretty good up front.
And yeah, that was right before he went to talking. Yeah. He was like shaking his head, and he had like that when you put your bottom lip, you kind of put, if you're on the video feed, you have the bottom lip or your top lip, and you're like, that's what he looked like, man. He was just
trying to talk himself into it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He wants his team to be physical. I will say that. I mean, he always has.
I get it.
Yeah,
I understand it. All right, how the running backs responded to a tough first scrimmage.
Well, I thought they responded today. The young running backs that I was on their butt on Saturday, I thought they responded. They didn't pout. They owned it. Now I think a lot of that's the leadership of Rajay Harris sitting in there saying, hey, this isn't a personal attack at you. This is how you're playing, and helping them understand that, hey, you got to grow from it or you're never going to play. And you came here to play. And I thought that they owned it, and they went out today, and I thought they had better effort, and I thought that they tried to be more physical. We did a third down period competition, and backs. One big thing is they got to be able to step up in protection, and we brought a lot of pressures at them right in their face, and they stepped up and tried to take on those linebackers. Sometimes it's ugly, okay, but they got to learn how to do that. That's a big part of playing the running back position.
All right, decision sooner than later on the quarterback or the starting quarterback.
I want to make a decision sooner than later. I think that. It depends on how these 3 days go this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as to, how we continued on into Saturday.
Do you think he'll announce a starter tonight, because they're doing a press conference like at 11 or something tonight?
Yeah, it's going to be close to midnight, I think. I think I'm going to be half asleep when this happens. No, I'm just kidding. 8:30 tonight. So I don't think he does.
Which in my world might as well be 11.
Yeah, for you, yeah. It's going to be like I'm going to get to watch 6 innings of the Red Sox. They start at 6 and I have to go home. or go to
be
work,
watching
go back to
my
work.
back of my eyelids for about an hour and a half at that point.
But I think no, because I think they're at least going to want to look at they look at the film of every day's practice, not just our scrimmages. And I don't see, because we'll get them 45 seconds after they walk off the field.
Gotcha.
I don't think we'll have time to talk, but I think they make one by Saturday, even if they don't publicly do it. I think they know by Saturday internally. Would be my guess.
And they may already know. All right, what he liked most, Mike Houston, about last Saturday's scrimmage?
I think our coverage defensively was a positive. 'Cause I think we're pretty talented in the wide receiver room, and I thought we held up pretty good. I thought that our tempo was good. We want to continue to push that pace to go faster. I think that you had some flashes, individually on Saturday. I think Zakai Barker is having a very good preseason camp and is really doing a great job from a leadership position for a young guy. On offense, I really like how some of our guys, maybe people kind of forget about it. I like how they're approaching camp. Brock Spalding, I think he's finally, becoming what we thought he could be. He's doing a great job on special teams. He's doing a great job blocking on the perimeter. He's making contested catches. Just really excited to see that from him. And speaking of special teams, that's probably the biggest bright spot from Saturday. Is just I think we've got a chance to make some explosive plays on special teams.
Mike, speaking of the receiver room, Kerry King and his recovery from a torn ACL.
I'm really surprised. I told him that. It's been a little less than a year since he tore his ACL, and usually you don't see a guy back at the level he is this soon. But that's a credit to A, the doctors, the job they did, but B, the job that he did attacking rehab. He looks, you'd never know. I mean, he's not wearing a brace. He's running very, very well. You'd never know he was injured last year. So it's great to see. Happy for him.
Thoughts on the young linebackers?
I thought Julian Davis had a really good day on Saturday. I'd like to see him continue to improve on that. DJ and Greg, I've challenged them. I expect more from them than what we're getting from them right now. And it's not a lack of want to, but they've got to do a great job on special teams, and they've got to continue to evolve. In that linebacker room. We do have some depth at some other positions, and so we have some guys with some position flexibility, and we're gonna play around with that a little bit this week also. I think Mike Edwards is having a solid preseason camp. I think Day Wilson, I thought he had a really good scrimmage Saturday. It's probably the best he's looked since he's been here, and I thought he had a good practice today. So you got those three guys you feel really good about. We just got to figure out who number 4 and number 5 is, because we'll probably travel 5 linebackers.
All right. Pilk will have you'll be there tonight, right, Pilk?
I will.
Don't be so enthusiastic about it.
Wasn't so late. I might be more enthusiastic.
And then if there's anything that is news out of this, you'll be sure to let the world know, right?
I will be, yeah. So stay tuned to our social media. It's supposed to start around 8:40, so which might mean closer to 9 o'clock. Who knows? Sometimes Coach Houston gets early, and sometimes, like the other day, it was really late. So who knows? But so probably from 8:45 through 9:15. If there's any crazy news, you'll see it on our social. If not, we'll just post the videos, and
you can watch
links.
it for yourself.
You can just watch it, yeah. Hear what Coach has to say.
And we'll have audio tomorrow as well. All right, and I think by then, because yesterday, you could tell there were students and families moving students in today back in Greenville, because it was a little hard to get around at times, even yesterday evening after the show. A little hard to get around. So maybe by then the traffic will have died down, Pilk. Who knows? Maybe not.
Hopefully. I think a
shortcut.
Some people don't move until Friday. Like I think our William, I was about to say our intern. I guess he's not an intern anymore. But I think he doesn't.
We hired him?
Yeah. Well, somebody's got to replace Joey Football.
I tell you what, he's printing money, hiring people left and right. Aren't they? Jeez. All right, let us go to Pilk now. He has an update. Scooter Rogers has gotten the distinction this year of he called 2 no-hitters, like in a week's time on radio, right?
Yeah, and a cycle.
And a cycle, but he called 2 no-hitters. And then he was doing the public address at the Little League World Series up in Williamsport, Pennsylvania this week. And there was a no-hitter today, is that right?
There was, first game. 5th ever no-hitter.
5th ever, you said?
Yep.
So Scooter has called 2 no-hitters on radio this year. And Scooter has been public address for another no-hitter. He's living right, it would seem. If I'm pitching, I want Scooter somewhere in the ballpark.
If I'm hitting, I sure as heck don't.
No, I don't. I want him as far away as possible if I'm hitting. I agree with you. All right, we are going to Pilk now for an update and also a Pirate report. And when we come back from the break following Pilk's update, we'll talk about and preview the FedEx Cup playoff on the PGA Tour and get some gambling winners from the mind of Brian Mull. But that is next. Well, it's after this, because next is Philip the Rep Pilkington. Take it away, Pilk.
Thank you, P-Man. Starting in Pirate Athletics, 2 new members have been named to the men's and women's swimming and diving staff. Those are Daisy Platts and Tyler Watson, as they will replace the 2 that left over the summer. And going over to the Little League World Series, which began today, Mexico won the first game of the Little League World Series 2-0 over the Caribbean team, which is from Aruba. Mexico pitchers Antonio Guerrero and Raul Hernandez Jr. combined to throw a no-hitter while striking out 12 in that contest. The Cal Ripken World Series Winterville 12U team will be back in action tomorrow as they take on the winner of Australia and Fargo. Bad news for the Minnesota Vikings. It turns out J.J. McCarthy's knee surgery will be season-ending. They have announced that Sam Darnold will be expected to be the starter. Going back over to college athletics, Duke and Illinois have announced that they will be playing a contest in late February inside Cameron North, or more also known as Madison Square Garden. That will be on a Saturday, and that game will be on Fox. Moving over to NASCAR, Austin Dillon was penalized after his win the other day when he took out Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin to do so. He was docked 25 driver points, and he was stripped of his playoff eligibility. He is not ineligible total from the playoffs. He can still clinch berth with a win in each of these last 3 races, but that win cannot count towards his eligibility. His spotter, Brandon Boucher, was suspended for 3 Cup Series races after he allegedly told Dillon to wreck Denny Hamlin in the heat of the moment as they came off 4. And Joey Logano was fined $50,000 for his pit road incident as he came in speeding and almost ran over a NASCAR official, as well as a few other innocent bystanders. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. We're going to take a time out here on the Patrick Johnson Show and be back with Brian Mull right after this.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227. Summer is here, and Sawyer's Fun Park is having a toddler summer special. From 10 a.m. to 12 noon, Monday through Friday, Sawyer's has a $10 2-hour unlimited pass for ages 2 to 4. That's 1 toddler and 1 parent for just $10 every weekday morning. Sawyer's Fun Park summer hours are Monday through Thursday from 10 to 8, Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 9, and Sundays from 12 to 8. Book your tickets online at SawyersFunPark.com and beat the heat this summer at Sawyer's Fun Park.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, Newbern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-12. Taking the rage out of your drive home.
You just cut me off, but it's no big deal.
Patrick Johnson on 94.3 The Game and the new IBX Media app.
It's a huge deal now that all these students and their parents are back moving them in. I mean, it's a nightmare in Greenville. Tough to get around even last night. All right, welcome back. Let's say hello to Brian Mull. He writes about golf. He writes about college hoops. He joins us here on the Patrick Johnson Show, as he's apt to do on a consistent basis during the season when there's plenty to talk about, and there is right now in the world of golf. Before we get into today's event, this week's event, and all of the other things going on, let's talk about the U.S. Amateur, which is going on up in Minnesota. Jimmy Ellis, 39-year-old from Atlantic Beach, Florida, shoots a 61 2 days into his 124th U.S. Amateur. Pretty good stuff as he is leading on top of the leaderboard there. I don't care who you are and where you are. You shoot a 61, Brian Mull. That's pretty good stuff.
Absolutely. Welcome. Thanks for having me, Patrick. USGA sets up the amateur as about as difficult as they do the U.S. Open, and certainly championship golf courses here for a 39-year-old to come in there with the young bucks and earn the medal. That's pretty impressive. Now he has to go out and, back that up. He's off at 110 against Ethan Fang from Plano, Texas. And, Hazeltine, certainly familiar to us all. Great duel there between Lee Janzen and Payne Stewart in the U.S. Open, and also the recent Ryder Cup. One of the recent U.S. victories in the Ryder Cup was a team in Minnesota. So it should make for some interesting action here over the next few days.
Really impressive was the kid that played at the Wyndham. Finished up like at 8 at night, hopped on a plane, and then got to Minnesota to hit his tee time on Monday.
Yeah, Luke Clanton is he's been incredible. If you look at his results from the summer, he would have earned enough points just from those tournaments to have qualified for the playoffs had he been a professional. But he is adamant that he is going to remain an amateur and return to Florida State and try to lead the Seminoles to a national championship. In doing so, he's leaving some money on the table, obviously. But, that's the decision that he seems to have made, at least at this point. Now, if he were to win 6 matches in the next few days, that could change, obviously. But, just incredible to finish up that late, hop on probably a private flight, I would have to think, and then tee off Monday and go out, and he's the 21st seed, so he played really solid golf. An interesting match at 11:30. I'm not sure if that's Eastern or Central time, but either way, a couple of kids from North Carolina who grew up playing junior golf against each other. Jackson Van Paris, the North-South Amateur champion, who is from Pinehurst, there at the Country Club of North Carolina, a member, and Peter Fountain from Raleigh, who played at UNC. they're battling at 11:30, so they had to go all the way to Minnesota to play a little golf match.
Yeah, crazy. All right, let's talk about the FedEx Cup playoffs getting underway after the Wyndham Championship. And because FedEx pumps so much money in, they get to host an event in the playoff in August when you can play. It's like playing golf on the surface of the sun. But that's what it is when you go to Memphis this time of year.
Yeah, this is obviously a situation where the sponsor is calling the shots, and there's no doubt that FedEx has been one of the most loyal sponsors to the PGA Tour in recent years and has some of the deepest pockets. And, let's not discount all the money that this golf tournament has raised for the St. Jude Hospital, Children's Hospital through the years. And, kudos to the players and all of the FedEx folks for this, but nobody wants to be there in August. The tournament used to be in June. Actually, in '99, it was the week before the PGA Championship, one of the worst thunderstorms I've ever seen. Cars were flooding. It was just brutally humid, always there, even in June. And of course, you can imagine in August it's worse. The golf course is just okay. It's one of the older TPC golf courses. It's a decent challenge, but just an average golf course. This event would all of these events would serve the public, and the viewership so much better if they were held on the West Coast, where the final round and all the rounds could finish in prime time. These last few days of summer before the kids go back, people are trying to suck up every minute they can outside or take one last beach trip or whatever, or get a late round of golf in. And I just don't, for all the tour has done to try to promote the FedEx Cup and make people think it's important and be interested in something other than just a money grab, they just haven't marketed it very well when the West Coast would have been a great place to have at least these events. But they're gonna give out a big bag of money in Atlanta in a few weeks, and I don't think anything else is on the line. I mean, Scotty Scheffler is going to be the Player of the Year, and we'll just see what happens. Obviously, it's huge for guys who can get into the top 30. That gets them in all 4 majors next year, and the top 50 gets everyone in all of the signature events next year.
So we start with 70. That's a change from years past with the FedEx. And Scheffler seems to be, I would think, the prohibitive favorite to possibly, to win this thing and then to move on, quite obviously. Who else do you think has a, not so much an odd shot, but just, your analysis of who's playing well right now to keep, to maybe, come up and claim that big bag of money, as you say?
Yeah, we've seen guys get hot. I mean, it's easy just to focus on the guys at the top, and then when you look at Xander Schauffele's season and the record he's had at Eastlake, the host course of the Tour Championship, he's always someone that you have to keep in mind this time of the year. I'm going back to our guy Billy Horschel, former FedEx Cup champion. He's been playing as well as anyone. If you really break down his numbers over the last 3 months, he's easily a top 10, top 15 player on tour and in the world. And, he continued that last week. He had a bad putting round in the 3rd round, but still finished tied for 7th there at Sedgefield, and was more impressive how he was really encouraging Aaron Rod down the stretch there. I mean, I thought that really showed what a gentleman Billy can be in his best moments. So he's someone that I've got my eye on. As far as guys that are a little bit deeper, who I think have a very good chance to move up and get into the top 30. Victor Perez, he got the very last spot last week, and certainly has had a great year with a runner-up finish in Canada and then a 4th place finish there at home in the Olympics, where it seems he seemingly made every putt. So those are a couple of guys that I think could kind of come out of the pack a bit and make a move, but ultimately I would be stunned if anyone other than Scheffler, Schauffele, or McIlroy ends up winning the FedEx Cup.
Boy, Rory always plays well this time of year and has some history. And Vegas right now is salivating. Speaking of which, as we talk to Brian Mull, golf writer, a bit of an odds maker. Give us, if you want to put a little money on some playoff golf, what would you suggest here?
Yeah, looking in the placement market, there's two names that really stand out to me. Sung J M had a terrible putting week last week in Greensboro and finished 40th. He was the odds-on favorite going into the week, but I don't think you should jump off of him. If anything, you're getting a little bit better number this week because of him. And while Sung Jae hasn't really proven that he can win these big boy events on the PGA Tour with only one career victory, I think a top 10 or maybe even a top 20 on him is a pretty worthwhile investment. Another name that's under the radar, but was in a playoff here at TPC Southwind last season and has really played well since Pinehurst is Patrick Cantley. Has been in the hunt. He hasn't played in a couple of weeks because he wasn't in the Olympics and the nature of the schedule. But when you look at the way that he has played, again, he had a poor putting week at Troon, but he still finished 25th. But when you look at his ball striking numbers, it seems like he's figured something out here in the last couple of months. So those are a couple of guys in the placement market. And then, the winning market here is difficult. Like you said, Scheffler going off under 4-1 at this point. Schauffele around 8-1. If you want to fire a little sprinkle on one of those two, you could never go wrong. But I do like Morikawa. His odds have kind of slipped up a little bit to around 14 in some places. And he's played as well as anybody this year who hasn't won a tournament. Now, can he get it done on Sunday? Maybe. This is a good golf course for him. I mean, you have to be in the fairway here. The Bermuda rough is lush and difficult. There's a ton of water on this golf course. You have to keep your ball dry, and it rewards accuracy. And Morikawa certainly has that in spades. So I think he's someone I'd keep an eye on there. And beyond that, I just don't see a ton of value as far as winning down the board with long shots.
Brian, we can't solve all of the world of golf's problems in just a few minutes here, but, it strikes me as we get to the playoff and you've got LIV and you got some of those guys playing overseas that are on the LIV Tour normally. I just look at the whole thing, and golf is in such a state of flux right now. What is the best solution? If you could just wave the wand, maybe the little elevator pitch here. Assume we're on a pretty big building, so you have more than 30 seconds. What ultimately is going to happen here and needs to happen in your estimation?
Well, I think they all have to come together, first of all, at some point. And we have to, have a moment where the heads of the various, whether it's a merger or the LIV guys are accepted back or whatever. I think we have to kind of get over the fact that they took the money back because, look, the PGA Tour players are being compensated with equity and very well in their own right, and the investment made by the SSG group. I think a world tour makes the most sense. And it's something that McIlroy has floated around, and people say, well, that's exactly what Greg Norman wanted 30 years ago. Well, maybe that's where we're at now. Maybe golf has reached a point where it needs to be a global game. And if we want to get these top 50, top 40 players together as much as possible, other than just 4 times a year, then we need to devise some type of schedule where we can go to places like South Africa and Australia and have an event or two, and the European events can kind of come back, because I think that DP World Tour has suffered as much as any through all of this, because so many of their top players are now playing exclusively in the United States or on the PGA Tour. And then I think it has to be, we just have to, instead of pretending that everyone who's on the PGA Tour is kind of on the same level, which anyone who's out there and not in the top 50 would say we're definitely not. Let's divide it, and let's call the top events. It's kind of like the Premier League, I guess, or whatever in soccer, and these are the events where you're going to see the premier players. And then there's another level, another tier where they're not playing for quite as much money, and those guys have opportunity to play well enough to get promoted. And vice versa, the guys at the top, if they struggle for a while, they get relegated, and it happens a little, quicker than it would have in the past. The problem with that is you're asking the sponsors to put up a lot of money at some of these events, and if they know that they're never going to get any of the top players to show up, how are they able to sell that to their board members and shareholders and the folks that are writing the checks? So there's somebody way smarter than me is going to have to figure all of that out. But I think that's what we've discovered is that, golf fans only are really getting interested. So many of my friends and fans who've followed the PGA Tour for years, they don't even watch it anymore, but they're going to watch the four majors, and they will not be watching the FedEx Cup, regardless of how much money is involved. The money just doesn't get people interested. But I think an event, global events, and you run into time zone issues and things of that nature. But I think that is obviously the solution. When you look at the top players in this field, they're from all over the world. And when you look at the game, although it's been a great year for the Americans in both the Olympics and the majors, the game is as global as it has ever been. And I think that's got to be represented in the schedule somewhat if we really want to unify. If that can't be accomplished, I'm not sure unification can either.
Brian Mull, thanks a lot. We appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Patrick. Everybody enjoy the FedEx Cup.
All right, certainly will. It's the Patrick Johnson Show. We roll on here on 94.3 The Game and the IBX Media app right after this.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place, and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
Let's go! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Football time!
Set the tone. Kyle, tie your shoes, tie your shoes. Yeah, good job. Woo! Yeah!
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
And now,
the stunning conclusion of the show. It's the P-Man here on 94.3 The Game.
Asked me did I watch any NFL this past weekend, any of the preseason. Yeah, I watched a few plays here and there. And then what did you ask me, Bill?
Thoughts on the new kickoff?
And here's what I did. Every time there would be a score, I would go out and take a bathroom break because I'm conditioned to do that.
Because of all the touchbacks.
Nothing ever happens on the kickoff. That's a bathroom break. That's a go get a drink from the refrigerator break. But now you got to watch it because there's a return.
There
I didn't mind it. I wasn't mad at it.
It's weird. I don't. It looks awkward.
It is weird.
It takes the squib and the pooch kick out of it, which I don't like. But play in and play or return in and return out, it's better. The one thing I'm still unsure on, I know you have to claim before you're kicking an onside kick, which makes sense because no one's in position to rightfully recover it on either team. I hope that we go back to the 5-yard head start rule on onside kicks. You know, we used to have 5 yards. They claimed it was too many injuries, so they made it a 1-yard head start and made the onside success rate go from like 8 or 9% down to like 3%. So that was not a good thing. It almost negated the onside kick even being a thing. And that 5 yards is not going to be more injury prone, I don't think, on something like an onside kick because usually on big collisions there anyways. So I'm hoping that's fixed. That's the big thing. And if that's fixed, I'm good with all of it. But if they don't fix that, then there's no point doing this dopey thing. Just
can't get up and go watch. Can't go get a bathroom break. Can't go get a snack.
No.
Days are over now.
Well, I mean, if the Panthers are playing, you just do it when the offense takes the field, and then you watch when the defense takes the field and hope they get a pick six.
Speaking of the Panthers, dual practices with the Jets. Antoine Staley, ECU alum's written for the Panthers in the past. He's now the Jets beat writer. We'll check with him tomorrow. And Houston Nutt, former college football coach, will be on tomorrow on the Patrick Johnson Show. In the morning, talk of the town, and back here, 5 o'clock, final show of the week. PJ Show. Have a good evening, everybody.